Okay, part 2 of the unit testing with xUnit demo. We've got the calculator's add method implemented. It's written, tested, committed to version control. Next, we'll work on the subtract method. Back over to the calculator fixture class. And now we can start working on the test for subtract. And like any good developer, I'm all about using copy and paste. Paste in that copied code and then rename the method to subtract. Change the method name, and then since our expected value will be different, change expected to be -1. In the act section of our test, I'll change the method that we're calling to be subtract, and that immediately lights up with a compile problem. Because that subtract method doesn't exist in the calculator class, so I'll use the quick fix menu. That'll generate the basic method for subtract. Once again, quick fix made an ultra strange choice for the return type. Change that to be a return type of int. And now back over to the test runner. What I could do is click run all tests, but I'll just tell you right now that there's a bug. Notice in the list that all we see is the add test. It doesn't show the subtract test yet. Well, if I click run all tests, it's going to compile the code. Then the subtract method will show up, but it won't run the new subtract test. Let me show you. See, isn't that weird? It picks up the test after the compile, but then it runs the list of tests that were available when you clicked run all tests. Definitely a bug. To get around this bug, you could click the refresh button before you click the run button. Or you could just click the run all test button again, and now both tests run. But the subtract test is failing because there's no implementation. I'll just quickly go implement the method, return value 1 minus value 2. And this time I'm going to click refresh. That'll do a compile for me. And then I'll click the run all test button. And both tests pass. Whenever I have a passing suite of unit tests, I want to commit to version control. That always gives me a snapshot of my code in case I massively mess something up. It gives me a place to roll back to. Now, in case you're worried about your continuous integration builds running too often, if you're using Git, the way to get around that is just to commit, but then not push your changes to the remote repository. By the way, if you're curious about Git, shameless plug, you might want to check out my Git videos. Commit that code and back to the calculator fixture. Now I'll implement the multiply operator. I'm going to repeat the same steps we did for the subtract method. And through the magic of video editing, here we are. Up next, code coverage on your unit tests using xUnit. Stay tuned.